Okay, everybody, a real quick recap on this. It's been just about an hour since I poured. So a few things that you should be keeping an eye on during that first period of time. One is leaking. You want to make sure that there are no leaks on it coming out the side of the platform. You can also check and see that the resin pour, the water level, is where you left it when you poured it. If you get air bubbles in your water and you don't want the air bubbles in there, if you apply a heat source such as a hair dryer or a heat gun, you can work those bubbles out of it. My philosophy has always been it's a water feature. If it has bubbles, I'm not super concerned by it. But if the water bubbles are bothering you, you can work them out with a source of heat. Pay attention with your time. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. They're going to start curing at different times. You can start moving the material around and forming your waves. It's either going to stay where you form it or it's going to level itself back out, which means it's not ready. And then just keep working it, and eventually it will start staying there. Once this gets hard, that's it. You can't move it around anymore. Once it does get to the point where it's hard, you'll be able to touch it. It'll still be tacky. It's still going to be wet inside. The chemicals are still doing their things. So it's going to take a couple of days for it to cure properly, and probably even longer than that, but at least for a couple of days to be able to handle it and work with it again. So put it in a safe place, put it in a place where the cats can't drink it or anything, and then you should be all set. While I was doing my pour, I had mentioned and I had shown that I was putting paint in there to try to form an algae, and it did just that. You can kind of see it all through. It was very much so like the oil water separation, and it's just kind of floating around in there. I think my snake even floated up a little bit too, so I think it actually looks like he's like midway through the water feature, which is really cool. Um, our next step will be starting the ground cover. We'll do that in a couple of days after this has a little time to cure. I will be demonstrating static grass, and our group expert Ani will be demonstrating flocking. So those are two of the bigger ground covers that you'll be able to use. And then we'll go over a couple of other things, other options for you as well. So stay creative, have fun with this water pour. If there's any questions or concerns before you pour it, feel free to ask. We'll totally be able to help answer your questions and hopefully make sure that you're all set before you do the pour. I don't want to make this sound scary, but I would really hate for you guys to put all your work into your platforms and then have it leak and not be right, and then ruin your platform. So as long as you did everything to the key, you should be right on the money. Stay creative, and as always, happy building.